Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending this chat today. The objective, as Nelly said, is to cover some concern that right now some companies already have, and also to talk this and introduce this in some startup that maybe they are not concerned about this. That is a vendor lock-in, security, and also advantage that open source technologies already have. I have the pleasure to count right now with my mate, David Peña.
Pleased to meet you again.
Thank you, David. The thing is that basically the first things, and in order to make an introduction, is that everything is about data right now. Data is almost the base of the technologies. There's nothing right now without data, and we are now, for example, have the example of the AI, and I wanted to introduce this because the data is becoming more value, and with that, we have a growth of little concerns about data security, how data have to scale, to innovate through the data, to retention, and also to be concerned about business continuity and backup solution, etc. But as we said at the beginning, another concern is the cloud lock-in. And it's not only affecting to the data, but also all the technologies, software that are, attacking to this data. So, for this first question, David, what do you think about vendor lock-in? First, for you, what is it? Vendor lock-in and how it affects right now to organization and startups.
Well, for me, good morning. For me, this vendor lock-in, this cloud lock-in is a problem. I mean, I know a lot of companies, more every day, we're trying to, I don't know, for different reasons, cost, performance problems, trying to live in Amazon, Google, and it's very complicated because it's not possible, technically it's possible. A customer has no way to leave this kind of cloud providers, or even worse, some of the problems are regarding performance. The cloud is not giving the services that they promise. So a lot of customers are seeing this problem, this unlocking problem, with the cloud. So I think that you must be very careful when you move application to the cloud to know what are the cloud, or what are, the application most suitable to work in the cloud, because our philosophy, our strategy is a multi-cloud environment. So we think that the main application, the most, regarding performance, the most requested application must run on-premise, and then work with different cloud providers, to move to this cloud provider, the application that must run and are more suitable to run in the cloud, So, but sometimes, customers take in theory, the wrong decision, to move all the applications to the cloud, and then they found this kind of problem interlocking. What do you think about this interlocking?
I see this vendor lock-in as two different ways. First is the technology one, that affects the compatibility of different technologies. If you want to move or migrate to from some technologies to another provider, or also if you want to go also on-premise or in a co-location, could be a compatibility issue. But also, and very important, there could be economical reason, because maybe in order to move your data or to move your technology, you have to spend an amount of money that maybe you could not afford, especially when you are managing, big data sets or huge database. Could be a big issue on that. However,
maybe someone in the room is suffering this problem. No. Nothing is paying too much.
We have
one.
One of them.
Just one.
Is a technology one or economical one?
Technology.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe in Spain we find more, customers with economical problem when trying to
also
to take it to that. And which is the technical problem? Can you tell us? Or it's complicated? Sorry.
Back develop. Okay.
Okay.
And another thing is also that you have, for example, different pricing models. okay? For example, here in OVH, one of the things that are saying is that, okay, everybody's talking about predictable, how predictable is your bill in terms of your data and your technology. I go beyond that because it's not just about to predict, okay? It's about how easy is to predict it, okay? Because you could have a very complex pricing model solutions, and of course, and specifically impact on a startup because you are lack of human resources, okay? Maybe you have 1, 2 developers, okay? You don't have a system administrator in order to control all this price model. And of course, that is a lack of interoperability. That's bring me to the other topic that comes in some way in order to give us an advantage on this issue. That is the OpenStack solutions. Okay, there is a trend right now that more companies and specifically a lot of startups right now are embracing open source technologies. What are these advantages right now in the open source world, and how and why basically startups and some organizations are deploying these kind of technologies?
Well, some people believe that the open source is unsecure. It is, and it's not true. I mean, in this case from Dell, we use this open source to make a lot of configuration, to manage the on-premise in the cloud environments. And to be honest, I don't know because what is the reason for that unsecure feeling? When talking about open source application, open source. So well, at least. We try to use it for multi-cloud environments. I mean, to be able to manage all the clouds and on-premise information from one point of control, you can say. So it's very easy to move loads of application between Amazon and Google and on-premise. And obviously, there is safe cost because you don't have to have people, who skills about skill about what, so the manage and the way you are the administration that you are making about this application is very simple, So. What do you think about
you have touched a very important thing that is a fear on the open source, and it's right because a lot of companies thinks that there's not a strong company behind the software, so they fear about lack of support, lack of continuity about these solutions. But the reality is that right now, for example, we have very good examples in the market with different organizations. For example, most of you maybe have known about Kubernetes technologies, okay? And Kubernetes technology right now have a very strong organization behind that is the Cloud Native Foundation. So even if you are, for example, looking for enterprise support on the open source technology, we have companies, for example, like Red Hat, okay, or even, for example, in the terms of virtualizations, we also have OpenStack, and I think that also open source technology is not about not only cost, because obviously, as you said at the beginning, could be a cost advantage. We are not talking about license cost, so we could avoid that. But also there are other benefits that comes with interoperability, because right now, for example, even on startups, if you want support, you will have support. There's big, strong right now organizations behind. You as a startup could tailor your technologies, okay, as you want, okay, because most of the licensed software could be customized, but in the open source solutions is the idea. You could customize, for example, Apache Web Server, for example, or a Kubernetes infrastructure to use at your own. For example, here in OVH Cloud, we have collaborating, for example, with OpenStack community, okay, and we have developments that improve, for example, OpenStack solutions. So Basically, I think that is one of the things that right now cover the fears and is a way out to avoid vendor locking. Open source technologies. I think so. So that is
this is what I told you at the beginning. I don't understand why people don't feel comfortable using this kind of environment. Open source, because when you talk to the people, no, it's unsecure. It's not true. I mean, at least in Dell, we use it, mainly for those multi-cloud solutions, and it's totally secure, So, and in the same way that you use VMware or wherever, you are using this open source with totally, a secure environment. So yes,
correct.
Be confident about that.
And finally, there is another topic that it will concern about the data. That is everything that is around the security. And right now, security right now is a very big topic. We are embracing cybersecurity issues. We are embracing business continuity, for backups. Okay, we are talking about also data protection and data sovereignty, especially here in Europe. What do you think about data security and how, for example, it could be interesting in order to leverage this topic on the startup, especially when they are starting their business?
Yeah. I mean, for me, security is a must. So every company today, more regarding this cyber attack that we are suffering from Russia or we don't know where, so. This data must be protected. So being this data in the cloud, maybe, is more difficult to protect. So maybe some application must run and be protected in the cloud, must be. But for, we can say, different reasons, most of the companies prefer to have, on-premise all the data that must be protected and cyber protected. In Dell, we have a strong army, we can say, to fight against these cyber attacks. So I'm especially selling this kind of products. So it's critical that you take, some of decisions now to be able to fight against these cyber attacks, because I promise every day. Maybe every week I'm seeing the customer cry, and it's not joking, because they have lost, all the data, And when you have a problem with the security and the data is in the cloud, what is the first thing that you make? You cut the communications.
Yeah.
So if you have a cybersecurity, we can say, you have a cybersecurity solution in the cloud, maybe you are not going to be able to use it because the first thing is, cut the communications, push it, the red button, and so most of the customers, for legal reasons, so government, all the kind of thing, prefer to have, this goes very closely with the multi-cloud environment. They prefer to have this information on-premise, in a colocation or wherever, and some applications to be running in the cloud. And so security is very important. I recommend you to take cybersecurity products right now. Dell, in this case, have these kind of solutions, and I understand OVH as well. But please, take an action regarding security for this kind of information.
In fact, the thing is that the bad thing about cybersecurity is that it's a kind of ethereal topic. You cannot touch it. You cannot it's not like the hardware and the hard drives and the amount of data that you could have is something ethereal, and we don't recognize how important it is until we have a failure. So it's a very very important right now to be to ensure basically our IT solutions with this kind of technology. Another topic, for example, what we are pushing right now in OVH Cloud is not also the cybersecurity in terms of specific solutions, but also in the protection. Right now, there is a lot of concerns right now in companies, especially here in Europe, about the data sovereignty. There is a lot of countries right now changing the laws in how the data could be how be managed, okay, and protected, and that is a challenge, okay. There is a challenge because not all the cloud solutions right now are in some way prepared in order to be compliant with this law, okay, and one of the important things in order to do that is that try to find a provider in order to that could be compliant with this law, but also another topic, and you mentioned at the beginning, is the multi-cloud. So in order to have and also hybrid cloud, in order to could take advantage of the cloud solutions. Okay, always thinking about the locking. Always thinking about how could lock your technologies, but also using on-premise solutions for those critical data that you could have in your company. So with this, we are finishing our time. I don't know if you have any last words.
We are finding more customers that are trying to to bring this application that now are running in the cloud to on-premise, because not only for cost, or a technical problem, but also because they want to have the information secure, and that the information is in this room. It's not. You don't know where, So, in fact, more the customers or more the people who are working in customer, don't know about this application or don't know about the company has a cybersecurity, because sometimes the enemy is inside. So maybe even the people who is working with the backup software is not able to know about this cybersecurity solution. And obviously you must have this information in on-premise. So many applications running on the cloud, but another many applications running on-premise because it's impossible by cost or technically or by regulations, like in public administration or whatever. It's impossible to run in the cloud, at least right now. So maybe in the future.
No, what I could say that I work of course in the cloud environment is to be sure, okay, to be in contact with your cloud provider, to have a close relationship in order to know what is your data, to have the possibility to trace your data is very important, okay, and of course to take consideration if this cloud provider is compliant with local laws, okay, and especially here in Europe, that where we are, where we base it, basically, So, and basically, in the have a last words, keep concerned about the locking. You don't know how you start, okay? I mean, you know how you start your journey in terms of business, but you don't know how it will end, okay? And it's very important to you when you build and start to build a deployment in cloud, in on-premise, or even in a co-location, to be sure how it will be your future, okay, in terms of technology. Keep in consideration compatibilities, keep in consideration the cost, okay, and how could be embraced in the future. And of course that open source is a way in order to avoid most of the locking issues that we have right now in the market, I think, right?
Well, from my side, I think I totally agree with you. Our strategy is multi-cloud environments. Insist in having, going, to the cloud is very easy. Getting out of there is very complicated and really have a very good or higher cost. So think about what application must run on premise, what application must run in the cloud. Because we have a lot of customers having this problem, trying to get out some application and they can't because of cost, because technically, and we can help all these customers to do that. And I firmly believe that we can have a very secure environment, although we have worked with open source, and the same way with VMware. And please, please, please protect your information today or yesterday, because the bad guys are, in every, inside the company, outside of the company, and nobody, give the importance or
how important is
how critical is to have this information, protected until they suffer an attack, So That's all. I don't know, or we don't know if you have any questions.
We nail it in terms of time. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, David, to be here with me.